Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Karpadash. Double honors once again go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth with all honesty and due diligence, trying to wake up the remaining hopeful elect. This is Nama of the DC camp. Try to keep it short. This has to do with the so-called black woman from America going overseas, showing her ass. All right. You know, how easily our people are manipulated after all this time being captive here, and make no mistake about it, we are still captives here in America. Our enemy, the so-called white man, whose biblical nationality is that of Edom, descendants of Jacob's brother Esau, all right? He has mastered at this point, all right, his ability to manipulate Jake. And Jake doesn't even realize it. All right, he gets us through all kinds. I mean, he comes at us in all kinds of ways. We recently, here in the district, the concert was out in Maryland, but still, the Beyonce, and this was weekend before last. That spirit, that Baphomet, coupled with Jezebel, that spirit. I mean, wow. But that's become commonplace. Those two that are on the so-called black woman. And then she takes that and goes abroad with that. These other countries, oh, they don't tolerate that. Especially Saudi Arabia. I know for those of you are aware of the sassy trucker from Houston. Well, she's back in Houston now as I make this video. She has been for maybe a couple of days now, something like that. But yeah. And she's like, oh, it was such a horrible... Of course it was, because you're used to getting your way here. Because you've been allowed to do so, because that was the so-called white man's agenda. Okay? Now see, a smart person would take that, get back here. It's like damn. It's like that. So America, like, holy shit, wait, hold on here. But that's not going to happen. Because our people, by and large, these women are just too far gone. Hey, some of the men too. But the thing is, you realize how just far gone our nation is through how their women are. And you won't talk about the men, but who in the last 50 years or so has raised these monsters. All right, there you go. Feminism and other fucking things that this so-called white man has thrown at our people. All right. So, and him behind the scenes saying, you know, certain things about us that played a huge part too. To where people, immigrants, they come over here, and if they're honest with you, they'll tell you, yeah, we were told that, yeah, beware of those black people. They're lazy, they're violent, and they will tell you this, and a few that come over here and they take on that white supremacist attitude because of that. All right, like I say, what's the old saying? First impression is a lot, you know, whatever they haven't seen through social media and movies, TV programs, whatever overseas concerning our people. You know, the rest, whatever was, fill in the blanks. Well, our adversary, this so-called white man, you know. So no, you cannot do the things that you do here, abroad. But these women are so delusional. Again, we'll just say, actually, the whole, the American, by and large, the American society is delusional. All right, but yeah, because everything's turned on its ass, on its head here, as the scripture also say. Thou that turns the things upside down, Isaiah 29:16. That's just what it is here. But these women have that Jezebel spirit on them. Now, let's look that up so y'all won't be left in the dark. It's easy to identify. You understand who Jezebel in the scriptures were. Go to 1 Kings. All right. Let's see. Here it is, Jezebel's spirit. All right. What is the Jezebel spirit? This is Christianity.com. We may have heard of Queen Jezebel, but not all of us have heard of something known as a Jezebel spirit. The Bible never strictly has the words Jezebel spirit, but there are negative connotations and symbolism surrounding the name Jezebel. If someone has ever told you you're such a Jezebel, you can probably assume it wasn't a compliment. Jezebel, the wicked queen and wife to the evil king Ahab, had a reputation for murder, iniquity, and sexual promiscuity. She not only served as a thorn in the side of the prophet Elijah, but she also led Israel astray in their foreign worship of idols. 1 Kings 18th chapter. All right. The Jezebel spirit. It says, now we may have heard of Jezebel, but not all of us have heard of something known as a Jezebel spirit. The Bible never strictly has the words, all right, the Jezebel spirit, but both the Old and New Testaments have negative connotations and symbolism surrounding the name Jezebel. Depending on one's background and denomination, most often from a charismatic background, the meaning of Jezebel spirit can differ. We will go with the most overarching. A disposition or demonic influence that causes to create rifts in the church and in marriages through cunning, deception, and seduction. All right, who was Jezebel? Are there different types of demons and how do they operate? And where does this play into a Jezebel spirit? Now we get into Jezebel and who she was. All right, it's a Phoenician woman turned queen. All right, let's see, let's scroll on down. It says Jezebel took the throne with King Ahab during a time of political uncertainty in Israel. She worshipped foreign idols and reintroduced them to Israel. 1 Kings 18th chapter. She slaughtered the Lord's prophets. 1 Kings 18:4. Wrongfully killed a man to take possession of his vineyard. 1 Kings 21st chapter, 1 through 22. 1 through 1 Kings 22nd chapter, verse 53. Salaki. So you got 2 chapters there. And murdered anyone who protested her introduction of Baal worship into the kingdom. In short, she wasn't a great role model. So Jezebel meets a grisly end by being thrown from a window and trampled by horses, but not before she ruined many lives. The same seems to apply to the Jezebel spirit. It wreaks destruction in anyone who winds up in its path. All right. Skipping down. It's let's get another. Let's see. 10 characteristics. I should have went this one first, but at least you got to get a little history there. All right, 10 characteristics. All right, and this is in Revelation 2 and 20. But I have a few things against you. You permit that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophetess, to teach and seduce my servants to commit sexual immorality and eat food sacrificed to idols. All right, here it goes. Jezebel's ultimate goal is always control. The Jezebel spirit is always motivated by its own agenda, which it relentlessly pursues. The Jezebel spirit attacks, dominates, or manipulates, especially male authority. Queen Jezebel usurped political authority of the kingdom. This spirit's ultimate goal is to conquer or neutralize the prophet because a discerning leader is its greatest enemy. Alright? Jezebel causes fear, flight, and discouragement. This spirit often causes a spiritual leader to flee from his appointed place by character assassination and ruining his reputation. People under Jezebel's influence are natural leaders, although often covertly. Alright? The Jezebel spirit attempts to seek out people of influence to win their ear, gain credibility, and win endorsement for their toxic cause. 5. People under Jezebel's influence are often insecure and wounded with pronounced egocentric needs. Damn. That's why it's usually a woman. They are often trying to fill a love deficit. People under Jezebel's control always have deep, unhealed wounds from sources such as rejection, resistance, fear, insecurity, self-preservation, and bitterness, which in turn spreads its defilement to many. 6. The Jezebel spirit functions subtly and deceptively. People controlled by Jezebel use flattery to win you over to their domination. Jezebel spirits are masters of manipulation by guilt and undermining or discrediting another's influence. Those under Jezebel's control use flirtation and are extremely jealous of anyone they perceive to be a threat. 7. Ultimately, people under Jezebel's influence are proud, independent, and rebellious. How befitting it was that Beyonce, Weekend Before Last, was here. What was it? All Independent Late? Wasn't that a song of hers? Something, I don't know. I just remember a line from it. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, 1 Samuel 15:23, and will attempt to control others through any means other than the Holy Spirit. 8. It takes an Ahab to let a Jezebel spirit operate unchallenged. A simp. Those under Jezebel's influence do not operate without someone under an Ahab spirit's influence, enabling them to function. 9. The Jezebel spirit is always in alignment with a religious spirit. Both, you know, this is a demon. Both Jezebel in the Old Testament and Revelation in the New Testament operated under the cover of religion. Its religious deeds are done for all to see. True and pure spiritual gifts attract people to Yahweh, not to the people who exercise the gifts. 10. The families of people under Jezebel's influence are often out of order. Those under Jezebel's influence control their partners and cause their children to take sides, grow up insecure, disrespect their fathers, feel manipulated, and become distrustful toward true authority. God dang. God, I gotta keep that. All right. So now you know what we're doing with. Let's go ahead and roll the video. So this is what these people saw. And like I say, this other woman, here we go. God dang it. I am so sorry, Salaki. I'm trying to start it over. And this thing just... Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. That big Jamaican woman has something for him. Mm-mm. And that's what I, an expression I use now. I say the black woman has become the ambassador of ratchetness. All right. Yeah. It's sad, but hey, it's true. And I'm going to stop this right here because I want to play another one. And for time's sake, of course, I'll put this in the description, the link to it, and you can watch the whole thing. But I want to try to find this other one because this woman was literally running for her life. Let's see. Here it is. She was a Fulbright scholar. Here we go. Teaching over in Bulgaria. See, this is a little representation of what's coming down the pike here very shortly, because unfortunately she seems like she was how am I gonna say this? She was one of those that, even though she's still an American black woman, so-called, uh, people are going to judge her by the more ratchet of her sisters. I'll put it that way. All right. She was, whether it was a mistake or not, she was forthright with the guy, and he might have taken that as a direct threat because she was so self-assured. All right, so that didn't help. But again, you're by yourself. You just have your little dog. See, these are things that we've tried to teach, but our people don't listen. This feminism, hey, you can do this, you can do it by yourself. Okay. So what's the complaint then? Handle your business. I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but you asked for this. This is what did see, this is the thing. All right, you're so used to America, and it's kind of odd at the same time, but you're pretty much protected over here, so-called black woman, because you are doing, whether you realize it or not, all right, you're doing a certain job, a certain function over here, and helping keeping our nation from becoming a nation. You know, you're destabilizing of the home and all that. Yes. All right. So you're allowed certain privileges here. Now you went abroad. You went into. Let me see if Bulgaria, I believe, is an Eastern Bloc state. Let's see. Country. Let's see. It's been a while. Eastern Bloc. Whoops. A big old. Here we go. Eastern Bloc countries. Let's see. My point in bringing this up is those old. Let's see. Eastern Bloc. Let's see. All right, let me get my ugly mug out the way. Eastern Bloc, also known as the Communist Bloc, the Socialist Bloc, and Soviet Bloc, was a coalition of communist states of Central and Eastern Europe, East Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America under the power of the Soviet Union that existed during the Cold War, 1947 through 1991. Let's see what those countries were. Let's see. Yep. In Western Europe, the term Eastern Bloc generally referred to the USSR and Central and Eastern European countries in the Comcon, East Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and Albania. I knew it. Yeah, Bulgaria and Albania. Yes, they do not play over there. All right. And they had some others, let's see, in so-called Asia, Mongolia, Vietnam, Laos. Okay, but we made our point, all right? I thought so, because it's been a while since I, had to refamiliarize myself with that. All right. So let's pick back up where we left off. No one likes you. Damn. Now watch this. Watch this. See that? Like, damn. Well, they were gonna handle you. All right. So, for those of you that didn't see those Hostel movies, all right, especially the first one, all right, she almost became part of that scenario. Wait a minute, let's see. You are a so-called black woman, an American so-called black woman at that. So, what part of traveling in an Eastern Bloc country such as Bulgaria by yourself made any type of sense? I'm still trying to figure that one out. And you're a Fulbright scholar. Alright? So you're supposed to be educated in this, but herein goes that independent woman bullshit. Alright? Now some might say, well, that's pretty cruel. I mean, you're like blaming the victim, but damn, it's... What else can you do when you, like, didn't you try to think this through? Like, what could possibly go wrong? I'm an American black woman. I'm by myself. Like, why don't you just paint a big ass fucking target on your back? I mean, she is lucky, very lucky, to have gotten out of that. Very, very lucky. Alright, and that probably will, and rightfully so, discourage her from doing any stupid shit like that. Alright, in the future. People just don't get it. They just don't get it. This kind of hatred towards us is not normal. It's not natural. And it can only be explained biblically. Alright? But again, you're trying to reason with people such as herself, and they're so caught up on this worldly, earthly, what they consider higher learning. Wow. Which, that has its place, but you have to understand, first and foremost, who you are in this. And that's why we're out here on the highways and byways every week, sometimes more than once a week, uh, making videos such as I'm doing now, trying to let our people know, hey, you know, these people, they're never going to like us. And I'm talking about the so-called white men. They're never, again, it's biblical. It's in their spirit. All right? They hate us. And I said earlier about, I said mortal enemy. And a mortal enemy, that's what these Edomites are to us. Let's get that definition real quick. I believe it's going to be an urban dictionary, but whatever. Mortal enemy. Whoops. The hell did that happen? My big old thumb. Alright, here it is. Mortal enemy meaning. Let's see. An enemy who wants to kill you. Plain and simple. That's all it means. Straight to the point. He even stated that. When you understand who we're dealing with, you go back to Genesis 27th chapter. Actually need to start at 25. Jacob and Esau. Alright? We are of the lineage of Jacob. They are of the lineage, so-called white people who like to call themselves that. They're not. There's no such thing as a white person. Because nothing about them when it comes to that word represents that word as being white or pure or anything associated with it. Alright? They're exactly the opposite. The word play there. But in Genesis 27, verses 38 through 41, alright, he tells you that after Jacob, after their father dies, and that's when he's going to kill his brother. He's been trying to do that ever since. It's that the descendants of these two brothers have been at it's a war between them. They represent with Jacob righteousness, and the wicked are represented through Esau's line, the Edomites. Genesis 36 chapter, read it. Alright, that's his lineage, that's his ancestry, his descendants. That's what we're caught up in. Our people are still distracted by this, I'm black and all this, and it's been right in front of them all along. But again, that young lady, she is very, very lucky to have gotten out of that alive. Over in Bulgaria, of all places, being by yourself. Well, I mean, she had, but being, man, that's fucking crazy. But that should be a lesson. But again, how many people have heard of this incident? That video that you saw there is said it was 4 months old. I was just made aware of it like within the last month. So 3 months before, at least before I got a hold of it. You want to take it upon yourself to go, oh, those two idiots in Jamaica, who knows, The woman that went down to Mexico, she from North Carolina? And those niggers that were with her, at least one of them, they got on tape, she butt-ass naked, and the girl basically beat her to death. It's fucked up, man. Our people, as someone told me in the late 70s, this old woman said, we are a pitiful people. And yes, we are. Yes, we are. But then again, that identifies us, our circumstance. It ain't them people over there occupying Israel now, those Israelis. If you would but study, alright, pray to the Most High Yahweh, and His Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit who will work with you, then you would see these things. These curses, they only apply to, they're an identifier as to who we are. I mean, this so-called white man has, when it comes to us, he's got so many distractions set up. All right, Psalms 83rd chapter. All right, all these things, and that is by definition a conspiracy. Read that chapter, and then in verse 6, it gives our enemies the shit list. Number 1, of course, is Edom, the so-called white man. Number 2, the dirty, filthy, nasty Arabs. And number 3 is Moab. Present day, your so-called Chinese. Alright? There's another thing our people like to do. They go from one to the other. But all you're doing is just changing oppressors. Go from one to the other. It's the same thing that's happening if you're paying attention to Africa over there. You're still dealing. You're going from the United States and the UK, and you're saying, "Fuck them. We're going to deal with Russia." Fuck. That's still an Edomite. All right. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Malachi 4:1. All right. Verses, 1 through 4. It's telling you about the wicked. Who the wicked are. Can't get that? Go to Maccabees. First Maccabees. Start at the top. Philip of Macedon and son Alexander the Great, or the Freak, and just read on down. All right. That's why they took those books, apocryphal books, and separated from the 1611 Bible, KJV, King James Version, and others that had the Apocrypha in it. Alright, that's why they did that. So, that'll be it. I will, again, put the links to the videos in the description box. And you can look at them at your leisure. Okay? So with that, hopefully you've been edified by this video. That's what we aim to do here at Great Millstone. And again, filtering these things, these incidents, through the scriptures. So hopefully, and then again, unlike your so-called pastors and preachers, we don't have such an ego, and we're not arrogant enough just to say these things and for you to take it as if it's our words. No, we want you to study. Alright? This is what we encourage you to do. And if you have questions, ask questions. That's scriptural also. Alright? We're supposed to be able to give you an answer then, not say come back next week. Like some people. Alright? So with that, till the next video, hey, shalom.